Picture this. It's December 13th, 1974. A young mother is home alone with her 9-year-old son when she hears footsteps in the basement of the house. Assuming it's her husband, Ron, who works from home, she calls out to him but receives no reply. Feeling a bit uneasy, she grabs a baseball bat and heads downstairs. But what she finds there will haunt her for the rest of her life. In this dark and suspenseful video, we'll take you through all the terrifying details surrounding this horrifying case. So make sure to stay tuned for more updates. Welcome back to our channel. Before we get into today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this one. Also, stick around for number 1 if you want to hear about one of the most haunted places in America, Amityville, New York. On a quiet suburban street, nestled between manicured lawns and picture-perfect homes, stands the infamous Amityville house. At first glance, it looks like any other ordinary dwelling, but behind its unassuming facade lies a dark secret that has captivated the world for decades. For this is not just a house, it's a portal to another dimension where the veil between the living and the dead is paper-thin. For within these 4 walls, unimaginable horrors have unfolded, leaving an indelible mark on those who dare to enter. It all began in the early hours of November 13, 1975, when a brutal crime shook the nation. Ronald DeFeo, a troubled young man, unleashed a killing spree that would become the stuff of legend. With a shotgun in hand, he methodically ended the lives of his entire family, sparing only his younger brother, David. The crime sent shockwaves through the close-knit community of Amityville, leaving residents to grapple with the darkness that had infiltrated their midst. As news of the massacre spread, people began to whisper tales of a house possessed by evil, a place where shadows danced ominously and whispers echoed in the dead of night. And so the legend of the Amityville Horror was born. George and Kathy Lutz were eager to start their new life in the idyllic town of Amityville. After purchasing the home at 112 Ocean Avenue, they moved in with their 3 children and a handful of friends. They planned to renovate the house, fixing up the property and making it their own. Little did they know that they were about to step into a nightmare from which there would be no escape. From the moment they crossed the threshold, strange things began to happen. Objects moved on their own, shaking the very foundations of their sanity. Doors opened and closed as if guided by an unseen hand, while disembodied voices whispered secrets in the dead of night. George and Kathy tried to ignore these unsettling occurrences, chalking them up to the quirks of an old house. But as time went on, the paranormal activity escalated, becoming more frequent and more intense. Then came the night that changed everything. As George and Kathy lay in bed, they heard the sound of heavy footsteps in the basement. Dismissing it as nothing more than the wind, they tried to sleep. But then the whispers began. They grew louder and more menacing, circling their bed like vultures. Unable to bear the eerie sounds any longer, George grabbed a baseball bat and descended into the basement. What he found there would forever alter the course of their lives. Blood-curdling screams echoed through the house, sending chills down the spines of anyone who heard them. And when George emerged from the basement, his face pale and drawn, Kathy knew something terrible had happened. With trembling hands, she followed him back downstairs where they discovered the source of the haunting sounds. In the musty darkness of the basement, a full-length mirror stood as a silent witness to the horrors that had unfolded within its depths. But it wasn't the mirror itself that caused such terror. No, for within its reflection, George and Kathy saw the ghastly apparition of a cloaked figure standing directly behind them. The malevolent presence seemed to mock them, its icy stare boring into their souls. But the basement held even darker secrets. As George and Kathy continued their grim exploration, they uncovered a chilling sight that sent a wave of nausea through their bodies. A small wooden box lay on the floor, its surface intricately carved with arcane symbols. Curiosity and morbid fascination compelled them to open it, and what they saw inside was nothing short of spine-chilling. Inside the box was a collection of disturbing artifacts, each whispering tales of the house's sinister past. One item in particular stood out, a small leather-bound book filled with cryptic writings and sketches. Its pages contained rituals and incantations that seemed to emanate a dark energy, as if the very essence of evil was seeping through the ink onto their skin. The true horror, however, lay in the book's illustrations. They depicted grotesque creatures with twisted features and elongated limbs, their eyes burning with an otherworldly fire. These beings seemed to writhe and coil around the house, feeding off the fear and despair of its inhabitants. With trembling hands, George and Kathy closed the book, feeling the weight of its dark secrets pressing down on them. They knew in that moment that they had stumbled upon something truly sinister, a hidden history that threatened to consume them whole. The more time the Lutz spent in the house, the worse things became. The paranormal activity intensified, and it soon became clear that they were not alone. Malevolent spirits seemed to lurk around every corner, watching their every move, waiting to strike. George, driven to the brink by the relentless torment, finally snapped. He fled the house, leaving Kathy and the children behind, seeking refuge from the horrors that awaited them. Alone in the house, Kathy huddled with her children, desperately trying to shield them from the darkness that seeped through the cracks. She felt the oppressive presence of the spirits closing in, their cold fingers brushing against her skin. The air grew thick with dread as the spirits whispered taunts and threats, their voices echoing through the empty halls. Kathy gathered her children close, forming a protective circle of love and warmth in the face of the encroaching shadows. She sang to them softly, her voice trembling, attempting to drown out the haunting whispers that threatened to engulf them. But the spirits grew bolder, their malevolence seeping into the very fabric of the house. Suddenly, a blood-curdling screech pierced the silence, sending shivers down their spines. From the corner of her eye, Kathy saw a dark figure gliding through the hallway, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. Terror froze her in place as the spirit approached, its icy fingers reaching out to touch her. Then, in a flash, it vanished, leaving her trapped in an eternal nightmare. Realizing the danger that lurked within the house's walls, Kathy knew she had to flee for her and her children's safety. With trembling hands, she packed a small bag, gathering essential supplies and precious memories that would serve as anchors to their former life. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the lawn, Kathy and her children slipped out of the house, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. They didn't dare look back, knowing that the horrors of the house would continue to haunt their nightmares. They left behind the creaking floorboards and the whispering walls, seeking solace in the comforting embrace of their friend's home. But the trauma of the haunting lingered, binding their fates to the sinister legacy of the Amityville horror. To this day, the Amityville house remains shrouded in mystery and controversy. Some believe that the tragic events of 1975 were nothing more than a brutal crime, while others insist that demonic forces played a role in the horrific events that unfolded within its walls. The true nature of the haunting remains unknown, lost in the labyrinth of human psychology and the boundaries of the supernatural. Throughout the years, the Amityville horror has captured the public's imagination, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and films. But it was George and Kathy Lutz's first-hand account in their 1977 book, The Amityville Horror Story, that truly brought the haunting to life. Their chilling tale captivated readers worldwide, cementing the Amityville house's place in paranormal lore. However, the story took a bizarre twist when skeptics emerged, questioning the authenticity of the Lutz's account. They pointed to inconsistencies in their story, suggesting that the haunting was nothing more than a hoax. The debate continues to this day, with some accusing the Lutzes of fabricating the entire ordeal for financial gain. In the end, perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the shadows of the Amityville house, hidden from plain sight. The haunting presence of the past lingers, reminding us that some doors are best left unopened and some secrets are best left buried. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave us a like and tell us your thoughts about the Amityville house in the comments below. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future videos like this one. Thanks for watching.